Damn, so it appears that the Brooklyn Nets are picking up Andre Roberson, who's a free agent right now, actually. The Nets have waived Norvel Pell, who I believe was on the Philly squad for a while, but then I guess he was gone. I think I remember seeing Pell in the preseason, I believe it was. Not this year, but last year. Now, Andre Roberson, if you guys remember, he was on the squad that did go to the Western Conference Finals with KD and Russ. Andre Roberson can't shoot to save his life, but I do remember him hitting some shots in that Warriors series. But the dude is a defensive specialist. That's what he does. That's pretty much all he does, but he's really fucking good at it. As you guys know, the Nets, they have enough shooting, and they're kind of at a point where you can't really double anybody with Kyrie, KD, and Harden on the floor. You can't really double anybody because they're all shooting threats. So with that in mind, you kind of need that defensive specialist. Now the question is, how good is Andre Roberson with this injury that he's had that basically sidelined him for like 2 years, I think it was. So he hasn't really played much. Obviously he's going to have the connect to KD because he played with them over in OKC. And, they must have seen him and seen that he was elite. But it's going to be interesting to see how many minutes he gets. As you guys know, the Nets have simultaneously the best offensive rating in history, but also the worst defensive rating in history. So that's why they're signing Andre Roberson, is because they need defense. And so I think it's a good signing, assuming that there's not something deeply wrong with Roberson. I think it's a good pickup. They're not really paying him that much money. He's making like $1 million, so something like that. He's not making that much, so it won't break the bank for the Nets cap wise. And I think it's a good pickup. I am interested to see how the fit is gonna go with Roberson. Again, he can't really score to save his life, but the dude is a defensive specialist, and that's exactly what the Brooklyn Nets need. And I do believe that when you're able to get those stars, you can usually fill out the rest of the roster with good enough players who are cheap enough who will be able to fill out the rest of your roster. I think the Nets just kind of have to get the personnel. Dinwiddie is injured right now too, but once they get these pieces, I think they'll be a lot better. They need to focus on their defense because their offense is already historically great. Their defense is historically bad. So this is what they're trying to do. I think it's a good move. I would say high reward, low risk. So pretty crazy move that really pushes the Nets up potentially. But we obviously have to see Roberson play first. But honestly, I have a good feeling about this signing.